Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Wednesday, and today we are going to read Mr. Good. And this is what Mr. Good looks like. Let's start straight away. Mr. Good is very good. He always makes his bed. He always cleans his teeth. And he always wipes his feet. He never slams doors. He never forgets birthdays. And he never ever tells lies. Mr. Good is very, very good. However, Mr. Good lives in a place called Badland, a place where nobody is like Mr. Good, a place where people do slam doors and they slam them in your face. In Badland, the puddles are much deeper than they look. He's nearly gone. In Badland, a dog's bite is worse than its bark. Oh, that's a scary dog. He better go home fast. In Badland, even the trees are bad. Look, the tree just tripped him up. Stuck his root out to the ground and tripped him up. One day it was wet and windy. Well, of course it was. The weather is always bad in Badland. Mr. Good was walking along, minding his own business, when the hat of a man in front blew off. Mr. Good leaped in the air and caught it for him. The man turned around and glared at Mr. Good. "What do you think you are doing?" he thundered. "Give me my hat back." Of course Mr. Good is going to give it back. He caught it to do that. Poor Mr. Good. This sort of thing was always happening to him. You see, the very idea of doing a good deed in Badland was preposterous, unthinkable, mad. If Mr. Good offered to help carry shopping, he was accused of stealing. Look, he was only offering to be kind. That lady thought he was going to take her things. If he kindly held a door open for somebody, then he would be kicked in the shin. Not surprisingly, Mr. Good was not very happy. In fact, he was miserable. Oh, poor Mr. Good. So he decided to go for a long walk to think about things. He walked for a very long time. He was so deep in thought that he did not notice how far he had gone. It's a very long walk. And he was so deep in thought that he accidentally walked slap bang into somebody. Oh, I'm so sorry, stammered Mr. Good nervously. "That's quite all right," said the man, and carried on his way. "Quite all right," repeated Mr. Good to himself. "That's quite all right." In the whole of his life, nobody had ever said, "That's quite all right" to Mr. Good. He mustn't be in Badland anymore. He must be in Goodland, or another land that's really nice. Then Mr. Good noticed that the sun was shining, which was strange because in Badland the sun never shines. He's definitely somewhere else. Further on, Mr. Good found a dustbin on its side. Without thinking, he tidied up all the rubbish. "Thank you," said a woman. Mr. Good stared at her. In the whole of his life, nobody had ever said thank you to him. "Could you tell me where I am?" he asked. "You're in Goodland. I was right," replied the woman. "Thank you," said Mr. Good. "My pleasure," said the woman. Mr. Good beamed. I think he might move house. I think he would prefer to live in Goodland. And I'm sure you have guessed that Mr. Good now lives in Goodland. and Mr. Good is happy, very, very happy, doing good deeds all day long. The only thing Mr. Good still does not trust are puddles. Once you've stepped in a Badland puddle, you'll never forget. What a great story, boys and girls. And today our rhyme is bingo. So I'm going to count to 3 and we're going to sing it together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. B-I-N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name-o. And then there are more verses, and I'll explain what you do in each verse. So instead of saying B the first time, you clap instead. So it goes like this. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. I-N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name-o. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name-o. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name-o. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. O, 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 and Bingo was his name-o. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. And Bingo was his name-o. That's a tricky one, but really, really fun. So try and practice it at home, okay? Talk to you tomorrow, boys and girls. Tomorrow is Thursday. Bye!